Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to another episode of GameCorp. This is the one and only gaming podcast, a gaming podcast you will ever need. Heard my echo, and I got a little bit stumbled there. I am your host. As always, my name is Matt Hedrick, and here with me is Mr. Chad Porto. How are you, sir?
Pogwash, whoa, podcast.
He's in a happy mood tonight.
And guess who is? All three Stooges.
Hearing it coming through on the feedback is hilarious.
You're coming in on the feedback.
You have lovely insults, by the way.
They are the most destructive. I feel like I would fit right in with the Lost Boys crowd. You mung tongue, you're a mung tongue. What? How is that even an insult? I just said that to you. No, I just said that to you. What? Stupid right here. What?
You call yourself creative.
I'm very creative. When it comes to insults, I'm not worried about being creative so much as I'm looking at being a brick wall of sorts. If you can't get past my wall, then I win.
So what are we doing tonight?
I have no fucking clue. That's it. Good night, folks. Da, 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 da. Roll the credits. Da, 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 da. This is my favorite
It's
show.
gonna be one of those shows, huh?
2 minutes long. In and out. Dunsky. My favorite.
Well, least amount of time you spent with me ever. You're so happy.
Right? I can focus on money-making opportunities instead of soul-draining monopolies. I don't know.
I hate the board game Monopoly, that's for sure.
I hate you.
I hate you too, buddy.
So we're doing. You got games you wanna talk about because you're a nerd. That's fine.
Should I break out the glasses now too? Just complete the whole ensemble.
Well, like, I don't know. Fuck video games.
I mean, if I wanted to go full nerd, I could wear the old Nintendo glasses I used to wear in elementary school.
Oh God, yes. So you got some games we're looking forward to in 2020, and I got some predictions for 2020 for the video game industry. I'm gonna give you a hint to both. Matt's gonna talk about samurai ninja stabbies, and I'm gonna be talking about Doom and Gloom.
Okay. Because it's what you do best, my friend.
Well, to be fair, the video game industry does not give me much else to work with. It's like complaining that I only have clay to mold my statues out of, even though I live right next to a fucking clay farm. We grow the clay here.
Clay farm. I've never heard that term before.
6-7 feet tall clay trees.
Dude.
We got clayberries. Got clay corns.
God damn it.
Clay melons.
Oh, God.
Clay clockley.
Are you even speaking English at this point?
Or broccoli, if you will. God damn, I should go with broccoli first. That works. Clay kits. Orange clay kits. Pull them out of the ground. Clatatoes.
I almost spit the water out of that one. Holy fuck.
Clamatos.
Is it clamato and juice or something like that?
Yeah, it's clam and tomato.
Ew.
Yeah, it's not good.
Gross. Gross.
So
where do you want to start with this? You want to start with your predictions or my
I predict
anticipation?
I predict that your anticipations are going to suck. First prediction.
Well, since you're pretty around me at least anyway, a negative person by nature, it's not really a surprise.
See, here's the thing. I give to the homeless. I feed little baby squirrels. I fend off the rising tides of the apocalypse. You just make me a very spiteful human being.
I cannot be the only human being on Earth that brings out the worst in you.
Like, I walk
There's no way.
around with an ethereal light behind me with slight hymns of "Ah," whenever I walk into a room. I bless the sick, heal the meek, and cure the evils. I go around you and I'm just like, you son of a bitch.
All right, slow it down there, Holy Spirit.
I did not die for your sins to come back for this shit.
If you die for me, you're in a world of trouble.
Now you understand the hostilities.
This is going to be a fucking weird-ass show, I'll tell you that right now.
And then they said unto him, Chad,
Your
shall
choices sucketh.
how shall that we serve thee? And he said unto them, sup, bitches.
I guess we should get on with it before the wind comes and carries us away, right?
Oh no, I'm just hoping that the wind ends the show before we actually have to do anything of relevance, because that way we can just pick, oh yeah, we had a show for you guys. Oh my god, we prepped and planned and days at a time. And
Oh, disaster
well,
struck us. We're so sad.
I guess we'll just talk about Vector Man. Didn't we already do Vector Man?
Yeah, that was like one of the. This is the first year I think we did Vector Man.
Fuck that green bald motherfucker.
You're man. What the hell did I ever do to you? Bring out the worst in you. Just exist.
Yup. You absorbed your twin in utero, and I was really close to that kid.
Oh my god. The sick lengths you'll go to just fucking make yourself feel better.
Backstory revealed.
We should make that into a movie.
Excuse me.
All right, would just be you shooting me in the face.
Why? That's not fun. As Rion Johnson goes, that wouldn't subvert any expectations.
No, but to get the job over and done with really quick.
Oh yeah, that's your wife, your girl's job. Get done, over, in and out. 38 seconds or less.
Well, there is in and out, but the time is a little bit longer.
40 seconds or less.
Five minutes, bitch. Fuck off.
That's not something you want. 5 minutes. How is that better?
Do you honestly think I would tell you the actual amount of time it would take me to do that?
No, because I know it's like a minute 22.
I can only. God damn it! Now you make me like you make me curious. Like I gotta sit there on a fucking stopwatch next time.
Why are you using a stopwatch? You can't count to 5
click.
Mississippi? 1 Mississippi? 2 Mississippi? 3 Mississippi? 4 Mississippi? 5 Mississippi? 6 Mississippi! New record!
Oh my fucking god! Oh man, enough about that sick fucking shit. Oh god.
I mean, thinking about you naked does make me want to vomit, so I agree.
Get a bag ready then, bitch.
Wait, why?
Because stuff's about to spew.
You're so weird.
And I love it.
So, my first prediction of the year 2020. I predict Ubisoft to either go out of business or to be on the brink of going out of business.
Wow.
Yes. First big prediction.
Out of
Apparently,
all of the ones you pick up, Ubisoft, that's crazy.
apparently, Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. Sorry, I said that wrong. Assassin's Creed Ragnarok is a make or break game for them. Granted, Assassin's Creed doing it Greek style did very well. That means in the pooper. But lame sex jokes aside, yeah, they released a military game. I forget what it's called, like Command and Conquer, Call of Duty, something.
Ghost Recon is what you're thinking of.
There it is. Ghost Call of Duty Ghost.
That's an old game.
Call of Duty Recon Ghost. Call of Recon.
They're all the same, right?
Yeah, essentially. First person bang bang. That awesome franchise. It tanked. The last Ghost Recon did very poorly, apparently. And they've not been hitting too many home runs outside of the Assassin's Creed franchise. And even that really was only rejuvenized with the last one or two versions of that game. So if this does poorly, you could either see them get bought out, merge, or just fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah, well, if they didn't, especially with Assassin's Creed, if they didn't milk that franchise every year and like actually make a quality game every few years or so, that would have been better for them. I understand you got to make your bottom line, but over the years, man, the quality of those games just, even at the start, they weren't that great, but they just went down even further from that. And I don't see their success crawling up too much in the future because I don't think their practices are going to change at all. So. And what's the only thing they got coming down the line? Watch Dogs? That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Watch Dogs was a bit of a fuckery too. So
a lot of miscommunication on that game, like at least graphics wise, from what I remember.
You completely fucked up my train of thought. Good job, asshole.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah. So do you know what happens to a cow that's no longer producing milk?
What is that?
It gets slaughtered for meat. If Ubisoft's not able to produce some milk from this teat that is the Assassin's Creed, I predict that Ubisoft gets slaughtered for meat.
I mean, it's possible. I guess out of all of the companies you think of, they probably would be the first up to go, wouldn't they?
Well, they're the most bloated.
Yeah.
Their operating income is down 93%.
Damn.
The Bolivian government hates them. I don't know how that's pertinent. I just think that's funny. So, yeah, my first big old prediction. What's your first big old game to look out for? Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. Oh, look at that. We're in unison.
Yeah. Put it back in the holster there, okay? My first one that I'm actually anticipating is The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, big swing on that one.
That wasn't a big swing. It's a game I'm anticipating because ever since you introduced me to it, which I do appreciate, How do you do it?
You put the ladder against the wall, man. I don't know how to do it. Put the ladder against the wall. I don't know. Put the ladder against the wall.
Okay, first time.
4 minutes into the game.
My controller was actually fucking broke.
4 minutes into the game.
And the button didn't fucking work, did it?
Okay, fair enough. because
I can't listen to you based on an action that doesn't work.
I fundamentally said all that to you, and I was getting very frustrated, and I ripped the controller from your hand, and I said, fine, I'll fucking do it. And then I couldn't do it. And then I looked at you and said, all right, fine, your computer. Point. I looked at you and said, "Find your controller's broken." By the by, if you
Because your
wanna,
first assumption is always to think I suck and I just don't know how to do something.
to be fair, my first assumption is usually correct.
Not that time.
No, it wasn't. So, by the by, go check out Inside Gaming Daily's video. Assassin's Creed Ragnarok could make or break Ubisoft on Inside Gaming Daily for more. So, you have Last of Us 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Mm-hmm.
A solid option.
That's a. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be one of the last major releases for the PS4.
Yeah, considering right around the time it releases, we'll probably be in full swing with all of the information with the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's. I was kind of thinking maybe they were going to hold out and maybe do a PS5, PS4 release because The Last of Us kind of went that route.
Well, I'll tell you
First
exactly
one
what
did,
they'll do.
PS3, PS4.
Well, no, that wasn't actually what they did. Last of Us was an exclusive PS3 game when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But they released a quote-unquote remastered game with some extra DLC when it got ported to the PS4. And I would expect something along that lines. So they'll make you pay $60 for Last of Us 2 Electric Boogaloo. And then apparently, rumor has it, all the next-gen games are going to be $70 potentially. I could see them charging $70 for a PS4 version a year after the PS4 version. Sorry, I could see them charging $70 for a PS5 version a year after the PS4 version has already come out.
But yeah, they would call it like some deluxe edition or some shit. There's no question on that one.
Now you can see Joel with blonde hair and Ellie 1.4 centimeters taller. DLC.
Yeah, it's something like originally I never thought I'd get into it, but then again, since this game is from Naughty Dog and I've liked other games from them in the past, it probably shouldn't have come as much of a surprise.
Dude, Naughty Dog and Rockstar are the only two major publishers that I have any faith in still.
So they better bring it with this one, and they will. I have a feeling they will. But I just wish the date wasn't moved back because that stung a little. 'Cause it was supposed to be like in February or something.
Well, I'd rather them move it back and fix any issues that's wrong with it than go, we need to uphold the deadlines. Because I feel like people who
especially
make
now
video
with
games,
a flag trademark with that one too.
Well, thanks for interrupting me, asshole. I feel like with most video game companies, they're not ran by video game fans. They don't actually know what it is the consumer wants. And they're more worried about meeting arbitrary dates on a calendar than they are about having a legacy or a reputation that comforts fans at night when they're debating whether or not to drop their cold, hard money on your dumb product. Give us good games, and we will give you money consistently. It's not a hard business model. Like, goddamn.
It's just one apparently most of them don't like to follow nowadays.
Nope.
So what's your next prediction here?
Did I have to blow my nose, asshole?
Okay.
All right. Had to get all the crap from Matt's last conversation out of my nose.
It might take a while.
No. Your points aren't that big.
I'm laughing on the inside, buddy.
Don't ask me how I know that song. Just shut up. All right, I'll tell you.
Because I was just pleading with you.
Have you ever heard of a band? And I know the answer is already no. Called the Me
What the
First.
fuck?
Called the Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
No, but the name is awesome.
Right? So they're essentially a punk band that does nothing but covers of songs. But they're made up of members of other bands who are more, the bands they also work for are more famous than Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Well, one of their fans was like a 12, 13-year-old Jewish kid. And he's like, hey, would you ever want to play my bar mitzvah? So they're like, sure, that sounds terrible. So they rolled up, played the entire bar mitzvah to like 110 people, recorded it for an album, and released it.
That sounds awesome.
It was. And they also did a few traditional Jewish bar mitzvah songs, as well as I think they partook in a few Jewish prayers. So they really went all in on that, and I thought that was hilarious. And that's one of the ones that they played was Nagavi. I can't say it, but that one.
Nagila Hava, is that how you say it?
Nagila Hava. There it is. It's a good song, especially when they play it, because it's very punk. So my next prediction is that the price for the PS5 is going to be astronomical.
Shocker.
Well, wasn't the PS4 at one point like $500? $550?
The the one I remember being in that range was when the PS3 was first announced. It was like almost like close to 500, like 600 or something like that.
I think it was 600. Because they had to cut costs dramatically just to sell it, and they ended up eating a big old loss on that one. So PS3 was the one that I was super big bad. I could see this being well over $700, or at the very least have a version that reaches well over $700.
Man. Yeah, I don't see myself getting it then if it's going to be that fucking price.
Well, now that I have a brand new computer, granted it's not much one for playing the modern games. I can now play all the retro games I want, and I intend to.
You gotta love when consoles just make you want to like pay a mortgage payment just to play their games.
To be fair,
No,
there are some benefits of console gaming, and I've always been a fan of the console games. But then again, that was during my time when I didn't have to worry about the internet and paying for subscriptions and services. And now I'm just like, I wonder if there's going to be a base in like 5 years, 10 years that would actually want to play more games offline and without an internet connection.
it would be interesting to see them go that route,
Right?
considering how much we've relied. It would be interesting to see how much we've relied on it over so many years. Like, it would be nice to just get back to the basics.
Well, I think about it like this. Like, the idea of music being all digital is actually a fallacy because they're printing vinyl records of new albums in today's day and age. And there's an entire subsect of people, a very large subsect of people, who buy their music exclusively, or at least preferably on vinyl records. 50 years after vinyl went out of goddamn style. So I do believe in the video game market that there's going to be a group of people who would prefer to have physical copies of not like modernized games, but like of new retro style games. I think that could be a very big thing. So,
Like you mean like newer games for retro consoles? Is that what you're talking about?
or retro inspired, like maybe not have like new games for the SNES, but have like a new 16-bit console that could play these games. It'd be $50, give or take, and then each game would be $15 or $20 a piece. Boom.
Well, that would be something.
I
That would be
think
something pretty cool.
I think that's a possibility, especially if it can be done. I don't want to say cheaply, but essentially, if the profit margin is big enough, I think it would be a big thing. Because there's still a lot of retro collectors, and what better way to entice a retro community than putting out a brand new product that they get to play for the first time? But you'll have to find a manufacturer and a few developers who are willing to go in and take that risk. Because I don't think if we can make an emulator, like, it'd be super fucking easy to make a new little console that can play a 32-bit game.
Oh yeah.
Just stay away from 64-bit. If you can't do like modern graphics, don't go above 32-bit. Like, I don't know what you're asking for at that point, because you're just gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 32-bit.
I would stick in like the 16-bit era if you had to, if nothing else.
I would go at least 1632, somewhere around there. Because PlayStation was what, 32-bit?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I'd go around there. Like, Symphony of the Night shouldn't be that hard to make in modern times. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, if you had the right support of like indie developers behind you too, that most of them make a lot of retro style games nowadays, you could have a neat little machine on your hands, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Plus, you get to, like, as a developer, like, put a little bit more money into your product, have like booklets and collectible items, which just drive up the asking price for your game. Like, and you don't need to worry about places like Steam or Epic Game Store being hacked or offline for some reason. I want to play a Super Plumber Bomber Dude Sega style game, but the store is down, or I don't have internet because of winds. But I got a hard copy of the Super Style Mega Sonic Bomber Guy game. I can just go, like, it'd be easy. Maybe even put like a
Whoever
little
thought
battery
going back
pack
to the
on it.
physical would be better, you know? That'd be awesome.
Well, that goes back into the whole adage of why vinyl's making a comeback. It's because a lot of people subscribe to the notion that vinyl has a clear sound. So, yeah, I very easily I could see it going back, because a lot of people, they get very tired on the social aspect of everything. You always hear people being burnt out on Twitch, or burnt out on YouTube, or burnt out on Twitter, or burnt out on Facebook, or burnt out on multiplayer games. I don't feel like gamers specifically are ever burnt out on gaming as they are burnt out on all of the nonsense it takes to play a game in today's day and age. So
Yeah, simplicity is a beautiful thing.
it
It
really is. When you have to wait 16 hours to download a fucking game and install it. Oh,
And who's to
by
say
the
you're even gonna
by.
like it or not?
Well, and oh, by the by, it's eating up your bandwidth. It's causing you to not be able to play any other games while you're downloading it, because it just makes everything run slower. Why is that preferred? I understand some of these game sizes have become so big that you literally can't keep it all on a accessible disc. Like, because essentially what happens, Matt, is these discs have the files on them, but they have to be unzipped, so to speak. They have to be decompressed.
Right.
Kind of like, if you get a file on your computer, so you want to unzip the file. Like, yeah, that's what a video game is, but it's so massive that it takes a while. So I think there's going to be a demand for it. I don't know if it's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry like the modern games is, but if you can get the console made for an affordable price and enough developers with talent behind them to give you anywhere from 50 to 175 games over the course of 5 years, you could probably make a decent profit off that. And fans would have an accessible, modern retro machine that can play brand new games that they're excited about.
Especially considering you're in the middle of a boom in that right now. Like there is a huge surge for retro gaming. There's all these different types of machines that are allowing you to try to play your old systems in different ways. Imagine if something like this came along, plopped itself in the middle of the scene. It would say, hey, look, you can play these things here. You don't have to worry about nothing. Just pay the money for this console. You can play whatever you want. and it cost a decent price, people would flock to that fucking thing, like easily.
I think the best entryway to do it is get a game that is like an indie retro game. Get it big on PlayStation or Steam or whatever. Get the exclusive rights to it then. Bring it over to this new machine. Have 2 more games from that specific developer on tap, as well as maybe tagging a classic franchise, like maybe getting Konami to agree to do some Castlevania games. And try to build off of those 2 or 3 IPs and hopefully have enough good games in the pipeline to bring people to this machine and to these developers. That's the idea. I think it could work, especially when you think about the fact that you can now do a lot more with 16, 32-bit in today's day and age than you could 20, 30 years ago. So I think you could have, like, think about a game like Undertale and how extensive that is.
Oh man,
you could probably put that onto a disc of some sort, not disc, but chip of some sort. I would imagine. I wouldn't imagine it's going to be that big or hard to do.
No, those games are relatively small, despite how big they seem in scale. Sizes of them are always relatively small.
And you think about a game like Final Fantasy VI. Wasn't that out for the Super Nintendo?
Yes, it was.
That's a massive fucking game, folks. That's saying. So I
gotta
think
start pitching it. We gotta start pitching this to people, man. Seriously,
right? It's a good idea. We'll call it Matt Sucks TM. That's trademarked.
The design of a console is just like a giant vacuum.
Hi, I'm Chad Porto, CEO and founder of Matt Sucks, and you're just like, come on, off screen. If you ever want to play video games without having to deal with those douchebag friends that always annoy you, oh, come on!
You should keep doing it, and then at one point say something, and it'll be like, you know what? He makes a good point.
Do you ever just sit alone in your house going, oh, I wish I had friends, but you realize you don't? Oh, fair. All right, fair. You just you come behind me with a hatchet, and you're like about to hit me. You ever feel like you want to play games, but you don't have any friends, and you just want to play a game? All right, fair. Just drops the hatchet and walks off stage.
That fucking console would sell if that was our commercial, I swear.
Right?
Because the thought of me doing that to you is just fun in general.
Like, think about like Bloodstain, Curse of the Moon, or Howl at the Moon, or Bark at the Moon.
You had it right. You had it right the first time.
I don't believe you.
Whatever.
What was the prequel Bloodstain game?
The first Bloodstain game, the prequel was Curse of the Moon.
Okay, so all right, I thought I was saying the name of the sequel. A game like that would have been great on this fictional system of ours. So I really do think it's possible, and yeah, like dungeon crawlers. I think the only problem that we would run into is, could we do a game like Binding of Isaac, even though I think that game is trash, where it's constantly creating new dungeons? I don't know.
I mean, you could in theory, because the game itself is not really that big, and there's a set amount of stages. They're just assembled in different order.
Well, there's a set amount of stages, but they're randomly generated every time through. You'll never play the same dungeon twice.
So you're thinking a system like what you're suggesting may not be powerful enough to make that kind of thing happen, like the random generation part?
What I'm wondering is if it could be. Because if it could be, that's the game winner right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can give you 50-hour games in 16-bit greatness. Oh, by the by, we can also give you games that randomly generate dungeons for your Zelda knockoffs. So after you beat the storyline, you can just keep playing and playing and playing and playing. So that's my.
Because if there's one thing gamers like, is nothing but replayability.
That's what we gotta offer with this fictitious console.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
I think the show's gonna turn into a board meeting for our new console.
Well, fine, but I want extra funds for the hookers.
Okay. You
Who
can
am
have
I?
all the diseases too, I guess.
Who am I kidding? I'm not gonna buy hookers. I'm gonna call Riley Reed and be like, "Hey, listen, what's the number?"
I'm a future potential millionaire.
Hell no, I'm a future potential billionaire. Can I
It
save
hasn't
you?
happened yet, but it's gonna happen soon, and I need some encouragement.
I have a $1 billion idea that might make me a few $100. Do you wanna like come over or something? I don't know. Like I don't know. Like have like frozen pizza. I don't know.
You want to play with the joystick?
Our game should it have a joystick? Ooh, no, we're not gonna talk about that. That's gotta be a secret.
Have her saw the game. Have her saw the system holding onto an old controller. Like,
no.
Imagine someone like me playing with your joystick.
Our controller's just gonna look like a dick. And then when people go, "Sir, why does your controller look like a dick?" We're gonna be like, "Because all of our clients, be it male or female, know how to use a dick."
This ad could never be on YouTube unless you blur out the fucking controller.
Well, it's not gonna be bulbous. It's just gonna kind of be stick-like.
Oh, so you're going suggestive. I thought you just meant full on.
No. Although we could have a base that has 2 rounded edges.
Oh my god, Matt sucks, and we're putting that to work literally.
I mean, right? Like, might as well.
Jesus. All right. So should I move on to my next one? Like you care?
Did I even do a real prediction? Oh yeah, I did.
You predicted that the PS5 would be expensive.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, do your next thing.
My next stupid game. Actually, and this, I don't know if this surprises you or not, but my next anticipated one for this year is Retromania Wrestling. I really want to check this game out because it's when it ever comes out.
Well, it's coming out this year. They're adding 30, 16, 32, something like that, new wrestlers to the game. They're doing
There's some like indie thing they're doing or some like contest or something.
They're doing an indie vote, and I think it's to get 16, I think, new wrestlers into the game, and they're all going to be independent wrestlers with smaller fan bases, in a hope to really add some uniqueness to the game as well as helping elevate some profiles. So I thought that was pretty cool. When I interviewed the head of the game, the director, it was about a year ago, and there was maybe 3,000 people following them on Twitter or something like that, maybe even less. Now I think they're at 16 or maybe 32,000. There's a lot
for them, man. That's awesome.
There's a lot of buzz around them. Let me Retromania Twitter. Hang on.
Okay.
12,000. They have 12,000 people. So they're starting to really get a lot of notoriety. And I think this game's going to do very well for itself because it's, the gameplay is it's just straight ripped off from WrestleMania Wrestling or whatever that was called. WrestleMania, the Mania spiritual successor to WrestleFest. That's what it is. So they already have the template for how the game's going to play. And you could easily just go online right now, find a emulated version of WrestleFest, and know what you're getting in for. So, like, this game is going to have zero reason for why it shouldn't do well, other than people not knowing it exists. They have marketable, recognizable wrestlers. They have up-and-coming wrestlers that people can relate to and get to know, as well as the fact that the industry itself is supporting and promoting this game for them. Now, if it stays at like $30, like that's the wheelhouse. That's the winning rec. That's if they come at $30 or less, it could be the game of the year because people will just buy it ad nauseum because it's replayable, it's affordable, and it's different.
Do you really think it's going to hit at $30? You think that's going to be like where the sweet spot is for that price?
I think it could be 40, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 20. This game doesn't really have a lot in terms of cost. Again, these aren't very hard to do models. The crew at last I checked wasn't that big, so there's not a lot of expenses. So it's very possible that this could be a very affordable game, and that's going to be the thing that I think drives it to succeed or fail.
I just hope it gets like a physical release too, aside from it just going digital, because that would be something cool to see. Like maybe have one of these independent or like these limited like things, pick it up and maybe sell it for like $30, $40.
I would like that.
Maybe.
They've already created a Retromania cabinet.
Oh, that's right. I saw that it's got
It's got the
was
Road
it like
Warriors.
the Blue World Order on it or something like
Yeah,
that?
it's got the Road Warriors and Tommy Dreamer down below, and it has Stevie Richards and the rest of the Blue World Order on the sides, with images from the game as the backdrops, and it's really well done. Like,
Oh man, I need to get that arcade.
Right?
Need to snag that bitch up.
So yeah,
And I'm not even like the biggest fan. I'm not played, like I said, the main ones I always remember playing were the 64 games. That was kind of where my first wrestling games were. Like I do. The only one I remember before that was the arcade version.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a very over the top kind of game, and this doesn't seem like that. Maybe a little, but this seems more like the mechanical side of like wrestling. Not over the topness of it. And I kind of want to. I'm kind of interested in playing something retro that it harkens back to an old school way of playing, and might be fun to see some of these independent wrestlers. I don't know much about this scene, so maybe I can learn a little bit more about it.
Well, one of the better things that's happening right now is they've got Johnny Retro, who, as a human being, his name is John Hennigan, and he lent his likeness to the game, 2 years ago. Since then, he's agreed to go back to the WWE. So now you have stumbled into the best possible situation where you have the rights to a major pro wrestler on major television. Because John, the wrestler Johnny Retro, now goes by Johnny Morrison, and he's on SmackDown every Friday night on Fox. So now you have an even bigger pipeline, and if he's able to promote, which I would hope he can and does, because this is something he's already contracted for, then that's an even bigger audience he can market to. So here's hoping. I'm excited about it.
I'm hearing the winds really kick up over here, man. It's fucking crazy.
Well, I'm on the 3rd floor of my place, so if I start going, whoa, 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 well, that's when we've hit a tumultuous opportunity.
Yeah, when all of a sudden it just blacks out in my house, that's when it's over.
That's when I've finally arrived.
So you got another prediction up your sleeve?
Yes. I'll make a bold one. NCAA will bring back or make an announcement to bring back. I'm sorry. EA Sports. That's the ESPN. What did I say?
I think you were trying to say EA will probably
Yes.
bring back an NCAA football game.
Yes.
Maybe.
That's what I meant to say. With the ruling that college athletes can now make money off of their likeness, there's no legalities prohibiting EA Sports from going back into the college football market. I would like to make a bigger swing and say there will finally be another pro football game made for the NFL that's not EA Sports related, because I think their contract ends in 2020. But I don't see that happening. The monopoly will stay. I'd love to see 2K try another football game, though. Get with the XFL. Or even better yet, 2K just did NBA 2K20 where they brought in both the NBA and the WNBA. Now, the only bad thing about that is the WNBA games can only be played in exhibitions or seasons, not franchise mode, which I thought was kind of bunk. Because I would like to, try to build a women's franchise, or even better yet, bring back the Cleveland Rockers. Remember them?
There you go.
And build a franchise with them. So I'm hoping that changes in 2021 with NBA 2K, where we can have a franchise mode for the WNBA. And I do acknowledge that this is a lot easier for them because they're both technically under the same umbrella. Even though the WNBA is its own league, apart from the NBA, they have a working relationship, and the WNBA is essentially funded by NBA profits. So getting them both in the same game isn't hard. But my idea would be for 2K to launch their Legends game again, because it was apparently well received because it was just the same engine that they were doing with ESPN football. Bring in a bunch of legends from football past, like John Elway and Barry Sanders, yada, 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 while also bringing in the XFL and the CFL. Now, that's a bit harder because the XFL and the CFL are two different leagues with two different rules and two different number of players, but I think if you can find a way to make it work, having a game of Canadian teams, American teams, and legendary players that you can add or draft or expand on and maybe even build like a college game within it, I think that would be super fun, and I think people would get a kick out of that.
Yeah, it's about high time we had like a newer sports game that at least tried something different or combining things together, because it's been such a stagnant, stale, steady decline of the games. You know what I mean? There's not much here that has much variety anymore. It's just releasing the same games every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see something unique come out, or maybe just something from a new or a different like you said, like with the WNBA. I would love to see a take on that. Maybe put them into the game for the first time.
They already
give
are.
it a little variety, give people options. Oh, that's actually happening.
NBA 2K20.
I thought you were just being hypothetical.
No. NBA 2K20 introduced WNBA players. The only problem is you can only play with them in exhibition games against one another or in a season mode. You can't do a franchise mode with the WNBA.
Okay.
And that's the thing that I would like to see change, because the best part of playing these games is like picking a franchise like the Cavs and trying to bring them back to prominence. Or picking the Mavericks and playing with Luka Doncic and seeing if you can get him to win a title 12 consecutive years going. And that would be a fun thing to try to do with the WNBA teams, but you can't be on just a traditional season mode. And the thing that differs between franchise and season mode is the difficulty in building a team. In franchise mode, you have to make salaries work. You have to include draft picks. It's not always that easy to get teams to trade with you, because the trade mechanic in these games are very bad, because they have this idea of value for value. So, like, if you have Kevin Love and you're trying to trade him, a lot of times they'll just offer you another older, big contract. And you're like, no, I want younger players like so-and-so and so-and-so, and I'll take this contract. And they're like, no. And you're like, wait, what? So, like, I would like to see them tweak that, but that's my nitpick. But it's a lot harder to build a franchise that wins titles in 2K franchise mode. But in the season mode for the WNBA, if I want to have a team of all-stars, I can just make trades. It doesn't even matter. There's nothing stopping me, essentially. So there's no draft picks to worry about. Like, it's 1 year. That's all you got. So you can go for broke and it wouldn't even matter. And I feel that takes away some of the difficulty for it. So I'd like to see that change in the next installment and have a franchise capability where you can have drafts and randomly generated draftees, or you can make your own draftees, because that would be a lot of fun, I think.
Do you think the WNBA could ever be a game, like a separate game from the NBA games, or do you think can only survive within the NBA 2K games?
See, that's a bigger question than what you're asking. The bigger question that you're asking is, could the WNBA ever survive without the NBA? It's not a very successful league, financially speaking. I don't think they've made money as an outfit. since they launched in like 1995 or whatever it was.
Okay.
I don't know. Despite all of the rah for equality and women just as good men and all that, women aren't supporting the WNBA. Like they're not. It's families and I don't mean this derogatorily. It's just true. And lesbians. Like those are the two big bases for the WNBA fan base. Families with little girls and same-sex partnerships. So you would need to get a bigger fan base. And you would need to finally become successful financially. But if that does happen, if the AFL can have a fucking video game, then yes, the WNBA could have their own game.
Well, I just think it would be interesting to finally see it, like, maybe not just be a part of the game, but be its own separate thing with its own separate ideas, you know?
Well, I've long had this idea for fixing the WNBA, and it's going to sound really mean, but I don't mean it. Change the entire game. Because the problem with the WNBA is, even though it does take place during the summer, a lot of people see it as inferior to the NBA because the women aren't as athletic. And that's just the truth. Women are not as athletic as men. The most athletic female player in the WNBA wouldn't be on most benches in the NBA just off of athletic ability alone. Now, talent-wise, some of them are just as phenomenal players as any men because it comes down to dribbling and shooting most of the time. And they've got some real shooters over there. Oh, yep, house is shaking. But in order for that to happen, in order for people to start seeing the WNBA in a light that is of equal quality to the NBA, you have to change the game. Like, you can't play basketball because people are just going to see you as an inferior NBA brand. The Australian Women's Basketball League, I think that's what it's called, is basketball, but it's different. There's no dribbling allowed. You can only take 3 steps. You have a player who can only stay in the center fragment of the court because it's not divided up in halves like in American basketball. It's divided up into thirds. You have 2 scorers and 2 defenders on each side. The scorers can advance through their third into a half, if that makes any sense, because they're still a half court. But they can leave their scoring option into the lower half, but only the quote-unquote center, I guess you would call her, can travel the whole court. It's like in soccer, where like one person would be going up and down the entire field. One player goes up and down the entire court. There's no backboard, and you can only shoot within a small region for X points and then a bigger region for X points. And it's still basketball, same skills, same fundamental principle, but it's played vastly different. And I think that's how you make the WNBA a success, by making it different. You don't want, if you could have the best pizza in the world or the best attempted pizza in the world, what are you going to want? You're going to want the best pizza in the world, not the best attempted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the issue we have with female sports. Now, the good thing with certain female sports, like volleyball is a predominantly female sport, at least in terms of what's promoted, even though there are men's leagues. So they don't ever have to worry about that. And you think about a sport like MMA and boxing, you don't need to worry about changing up that type of thing either, because it's not about who, which gender is doing the sporting the best. It's about who you can connect with. You can easily connect with a female fighter. It's not hard. Like, think about Ronda Rousey, someone you even know. The thing with Ronda Rousey is that she's fundamentally just, you love her or you hate her. And that's the only thing you need to know. Ronda Rousey couldn't beat Brock Lesnar in a fight. We know that. But we're not here to see Ronda Rousey, quote unquote, be better than Brock. We're here to see Ronda Rousey, period. And that's kind of what I think a lot of people are forgetting about when you think about the athletes and sports in general, is that you're thinking about and looking at stars to support. And that's another big issue against the WNBA. Even though they have some great talent, they're not marketing them. And I know it's like, counterproductive to what they're trying to go for. There's a lot of pretty women in that league. You could easily be getting some eyes on that if you just dare yourself to be a little bit provocative. And I know there's so many people who think that's sexist or derogatory. Listen, ladies, you got to play with what you got. If all you got are pocket twos, you're not going to sit and be like, no, I want a royal flush. You got pocket twos. Work with it. Find a way to win with that.
Yeah, the truth is you want to believe that everything is going to work out a certain way, but the fact of the matter is what sells is just what sells. It's what you need to do in order to make it work.
It comes down to a simple idea of how you can be successful. Do you really want to find reasons not to be? Because the WNBA as this we're just as good as the men idea will never work because it's not true. If I took the 10 best female basketball players and the 10 best male basketball players and I had them play a 40-minute game or 48-minute game with the same lines that the NBA plays in, same lengths of shots, same rules, that would be a score of 160 to 25.
Jesus.
It would be that bad. The biggest women in the WNBA are 6'7". Those are your centers. There's a dude in Boston. His name's Taco Fall. Is 7'6".
Good Lord.
There's another dude in Denver named Bull who's like 7'4". Try going into the paint with these dudes. They would just block your shit all day. And then you have to realize that like the best probably pure scorer is probably Maya Moore out of Minnesota. Put Patrick Beverley on her and she won't score in the game. She just won't. Beverly's too much of a dog. Like he's aggressive as a defender. That's why I love him. He's just love that guy. Or like Rondo, or Chris Paul. That's a one-sided affair. So yeah, when you're trying to do this idea that we're just as good, well, you're not. So don't make that your marketing ploy. I think women's sports should exist. Route. Yes, I think women's sports should exist. I'm a big proponent of it. But you got to stop lying to the audience, man. Like, you can't sit here and tell me that your 45,000 hit YouTube channel is just as successful as the Super Bowl. I'm going to call you a liar. And I think that's part of the problem. So find your niche, grow your niche, change what you got to change, and become something that is independent of the NBA and more goal-oriented to being different. And that's the thing that people need to realize. Being different is a good thing, especially in the marketplace. Especially in a marketplace that doesn't have any competitors. The 3 biggest basketball leagues in America are all owned by the NBA or supported by the NBA. There's the NBA, the WNBA, and the G League. They're all NBA affiliated.
The irony, right?
Right? So, yeah. Change your shit. What's your next game thing of the thing?
My next anticipated one, and I think you and I probably both have different opinions about this one, and that's the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Why would we have different opinions about that?
Well, because I don't know. It's based on how much you've seen of it. It's just more or less just give us the game already. Maybe it might not be as good as we really were hoping for it to be. I mean, I don't really know, but I'm just excited to see what is going to come of it, how much we're actually going to get to play of this story. And from what I've seen so far, it looks rather impressive, and I can't wait to get my hands on the final product. It's such a cherished game in this franchise that it just has to do well to me by default, or else there's just no point in this getting remade to begin with.
You're a lying whore. I've never had an issue with the Final Fantasy VII remake. My issue is I hate that it's going to be coming out in increments. The first part of this game that's coming out this year is only going to be until the end of the Midgard campaign. That's some bullshit. That's not even a third of disc 1. Like, the fuck? That's my issue.
So this could come out in how many different installments could this possibly come out if they're doing this shit in thirds? Oh god, is that like 9 installments?
Well, I think it's going to be more like 7 because disc 3 wasn't that big. Like disc 3 was just the stuff you've done already and could still do, but mostly disc 3 was just the final mission. Because I'm pretty sure
Still, you figure.
after you defeated Diamond Weapon at Midgar, like after all that went down, that was the end of disc 2.
Mm. Still, you got to figure what $60 a pop, right? Depending on what it's going to be in the future, you're looking at well over what
$250 to play this game. $300.
Fuck.
That's my
Probably
issue.
half of the price of a fucking console just to play through the entire remake of this thing.
I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe the remake is going to be longer and they're just not telling us. But that's what we've all been, hearing is that this is only going to be for the Midgar campaign. It's going to be a small part. Now it might be one of those things where you buy the whole game, $60 or maybe it's $70, and they release the next chapter once you buy the game, and you don't need to pay anymore. That might be the model. I don't know.
That'd be a good one. I would like that model.
Well, I would like a complete game, personally. I know, fuck me, right?
If you're asking for a full game in this day and age, in the modern age, good luck, buddy. You better go elsewhere.
That's why we gotta make our own video game console or video game. Fuck yeah.
I know it's supposed to tell more. There's supposed to be more story aspects to this. Like, at least that's what we're being told. This could be a complete fluke, and they could be releasing the whole thing, as far as we know, or at least half of it out the gate. You don't know.
There's still a lot of mystery and shroud.
Supposedly there's supposed to be a demo at some point. There's talks of it being right when the game launches. Some people are already like currently playing it, have like actually leaked it out and are playing it. Quite frankly, I don't want to play the demo. I just want the fucking game. Like at this point, I don't need a demo. Of all other games to have a demo for, this is like the Resident Evil 3 situation, the remake of that. These are games I already know from my past. I already know what I want from them story-wise, gameplay-wise, in general. Don't give me the demo. I just want to play the game now.
Well, I'm not against demos at all, because I think the free demo that RE2 did really upped the anticipation for that game. Not that the game was in trouble, but it went from, I'm super excited for this game to holy shit. So, yeah, I think demos are good, especially in today's day and age. I think the problem I have is don't do a demo or don't do a situation like Phantom Pain. Like, I don't need to play your engine to play your fucking game. Like, what are you doing? Stop that. Stop it.
Did you kind of expect it like going the route of the full blown like action game instead of because the turn-based thing just wasn't going to work out?
Yes. Only because I remember reading once when Final Fantasy 15 came out that the original director of Final Fantasy, who I think was working on 15, I don't quote me on that. The original director of Final Fantasy 15 said that the way 15 played. Sorry, I misspoke. The original director of Final Fantasy said that Final Fantasy 15 was the original idea for which he wanted to play the game originally. But he could never do that with the limitations of the NES. So that's why he went with the turn-based system. So I'm fine with them adopting the Final Fantasy 15 motif because that's always what the game was imagined to be. And I want to see what that looks like in modern form. Now, I'm curious, can you play as other characters, or are you locked in only as Cloud?
I believe I've seen at least little caps of like there's little tidbits of gameplay that have shown you like Tifa fighting and Aerith casting spells and stuff like that. So I believe that it's not just locked to them. Plus, I believe at E3 there was like a thing where the mechanic is switching from Cloud to Barrett like in real time.
Okay.
Within the battle, so
assuming that functionality works and isn't overly complicated, I could be very into this game because I'm fine with that. So, I'm excited to see how
because it's simplifying it. You know, it's simplifying the mechanic. So
it's about keeping the mechanic workable in a context. When you're in a action context, you want to make sure that any functionality within the game is simple and easy to do and reliable. You know, that's why traditional side-scrolling beat-em-ups are always still kind of viewed very positively because you punch him, he gets hit. You kick him, he gets hit. You do your special, they get hit. Very easy to do. Very simple skill sets. So if Final Fantasy can somehow incorporate a more dynamic gameplay than the original Final Fantasy VII game, while still keeping the functionality simple and easy to grasp, then yeah, hell yeah, it's going to be super successful.
I don't know about you, but I'm waiting on the part where you have to like get Cloud to dress up and like pose as a girl for that part, because that's seeing that in like the HD way is gonna be interesting.
Dude, that's gonna be weird. That whole scene as a kid, man, like you gotta understand, this game came out in '97, right?
Yeah.
The internet was a cesspool of you can't go on, you're too young. So the idea of debauchery, very foreign to a lot of us. So I remember like playing this going, should I be playing this? Why is she so into him looking like a girl?
Confused. I have strange questions right now.
It confused my young adolescent brain. Do girls like boys that dress like girls?
I know they're gonna play it out because I've already seen in trailers them actually doing the squat mini game thing.
It's one of the most iconic parts of that first chapter. So yeah, of course they're gonna play it out. Like that would be foolish not to. Like no matter what you feel about today's gender politics or sexual identities or what have you, that game and that moment is some of like, if we were to do like a 10 greatest moments, that would easily be in the top 5.
Because it's so fucking out of left field and strange.
Right? And it's not even just him doing it. Like, all right, you got to dress up as a girl. Whatever. I'm sure that's been done in other games before. But it's you have to go to a dude who sells wigs, and you got to go to a sex club that's predominantly gay dudes. Then you got to go to a gym that's probably predominantly gay dudes. And it's all these things that are like, as an adult, you realize, holy shit, there's a lot of sex. This is the red light district of Midgar. But as a kid, you don't realize what the fuck you're getting into. So yeah, it's very, it lands and stays with you.
And ironically enough, that entire slum is like lit up with neon lights.
Oh, and there's a giant fucking castle where some dude has a sex dungeon. So like, yeah.
God, that's gonna be so fucked up to see. God.
I'm gonna do a top 10 moments. I don't know how or why, but I'm gonna do a top 10 moments for Final Fantasy VII.
You should, dude. Do a write up on it. I'm sure people will get a kick out of that shit.
Right.
Oh man. So any more on your predictions here? You think you got anything else?
I did have one.
Okay.
I don't remember what it is. Wait. This isn't the one I had, but this is a good one. I predict a legendary franchise will make a return for a new installment.
The question becomes, which new franchise could it possibly be?
Well, I'm going to exclude Mario.
Okay.
Just because, like, we expect a new Mario game. Right? Like,
okay.
We know it's coming. We know it's coming. Maybe Sonic, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't like a Mega Man game.
Well, there's a big push for like what was it, since 11 came out? There's a lot of people talking like maybe they possibly would want X9, like to continue that series a little bit, maybe.
That'd be cool. X always had the cooler named villains. Like Chill Penguin. Like, are you kidding me? They
were always more creative with the bosses in that game too.
Well, because like with Mega Man, it was just like these are robots that are going to take on the traits of their jobs. So like Cutman, he cuts stuff, hair and trees, and Gutsman, he's a construction worker robot. So it was very like, But X is like, these are robotic animals. So like, fuck yeah, it's gonna be fucking crazy. Fucking elephant that spits fire. Who saw that coming? Not me. Hell yeah.
So if it could be any franchise you would want to come back, which one
Why are you
would
asking?
you
Why are
actually
you
want?
asking? You know the answer. Why are you asking? You know the answer.
It's Castlevania, of
Yes.
course. Now, how would you want it to do this in the traditional side-scrolling way, or would you want it to be where Symphony of the Night started things off, or would you want this to kind of go?
Something that was side scrolling, so like, at least that's how I view that. If you're talking, do I want a Super Castlevania 4 compared to a Castlevania of the Night where there's much more in the way of like not accessibility. Help me out here. Do you would RPG elements?
Exploration,
No,
exploration,
RPG,
maybe.
RPG elements. Customization. That's what I was thinking of. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know if I would want more customization or more simplified game. Honestly, I don't know why you couldn't do both. I don't know why you couldn't have. Because I pitched this idea to you before, and I don't know if you remember it, where I had an idea of incorporating all the games into a time travel-esque adventure. Have I ever mentioned this to you?
Yeah, I think you have.
I don't know why you couldn't do this over the course of three games. Have a Symphony Night, hardcore RPG game, where it's like you have to upgrade your armor and all that shit. Have a more traditional side-scrolling platformer, and then go off the fucking rails and just do a turn-based RPG campaign game where you get to use multiple characters at once based off their powers. I think honestly that's where I would like to see Castlevania go, with some kind of combination of RPG slash side-scrolling kind of elements where you have to traverse certain levels, kind of like how in Final Fantasy VII, how they all just go into Cloud's ass and live in his lower colon.
This is not untrue.
Do something like that where you have a primary character, be it Simon Belmont, Victor Belmont, the chick from 3, I forget her name. It's like Sophia, Anne. Letitia.
It's easier to pronounce.
I think it's Letitia. It might be Miem.
Oh God.
I can't be sure. It's like Sophia or Sophella or something like that. But have like a party, and you can select one primary character, and then you play through the quote unquote level with her as the primary kind of identity. And then when you get to the place where you got to fight, you all come out of her or out of him, and then you do 3-on-1 or 3-on-3 or whatever, and then you go back and you keep going through the level. And the levels would be big and a lot more explorative than traditional Castlevania games. But that's the idea that I see Castlevania should go in, because the game really does transcend genres. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, continue to press the idea of changing the genre, because it went from being a side scroller, no different than Mario with a whip, BDSM Mario, to being
would have thunk it.
Right, to being more of an action game with 4, to being an explorative side scroller with Symphony Night. Then you had the 3D realms in 64 and PS2. And then you kind of even went even further and went God of War with the more recent versions. So you've been traversing different types of gameplays. So why not keep traversing and go into a different idea? Maybe even do a Castlevania first-person horror game where you're playing a townsperson exploring the mystery of Dracula. Like, there's so many rich ideas you can do within the realm of this game. I don't see why you have to limit itself to going back to old ideas. Now, do go back to old ideas, yes. That's completely fine. But don't do it in a way that feels rehashed or tells the same story. Give us, like, my idea is over the course of 3 games, give us a story that would transcend and go into each game, but be a different game each time you go into it. So you got your old platformer, you got your more action-based, then you got your bigger RPG explorative game. So, I think that's the way I would go with a rebooted Castlevania franchise. But I would also take the characters and storylines from the past games. I would just incorporate everything into one linear timeline and retcon some shit.
Yeah, see, because you could that the hybrid idea sounds pretty awesome, and especially for the fact that you can do it over a 3-part thing, and that would get people much more anticipated and excited for something like this because we're bringing back Castlevania back in a way you've never seen it before, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to see it. I would love to see them take a different approach to it. Like hybrid games nowadays are some of the more successful ones out there, ones that are trying to incorporate different ideas into one game, which I've always liked that idea. Like you don't have to stay stale the whole time. You don't always have to stay on the one path. I would love it to be a turn-based RPG platformer, first-person horror, whatever you can think of and try, and you think, oh, this might be a good idea, go for it. Every franchise is in need of a new idea if you think it's getting stale because people might not always accept it, but at least they'll be willing to try, and maybe you might get something good out of it. You never know.
I mean, think about Call of Duty going to space. I mean, you
Fucking Infinite Warfare. Fuck.
say what you will about the dumbness of that. At least it was a different idea, you know? I think Call of Duty
Right.
would do
Yeah.
really well to just do a $25, $30 game where it's a turn-based RPG. Call of Duty, turn-based nonsense. Or Call of Duty, we're slowing this shit down. Call of Duty, for the people with anxiety.
Turn Call of Duty into like to RTS or something.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That'd be
That's
interesting.
what I was saying. Is an RTS. I guess that wouldn't curb the anxiety of some players. It would amplify, but still. But I think that would be a cool idea. Like take Call of Duty Modern Warfare, turn it into a $20 RTS game with the characters from the original franchise or the new franchise. Because apparently, to the best of my knowledge, Modern Warfare, the new game, is a prequel. So incorporate like all the characters.
I viewed it as a remake, but that's just me.
It might be a remake. I don't know. But at the end of the game, or at one point in the game, they were talking about characters that are like way dead, and
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
so like it's a reboot, but it's also a prequel in that sense because it does go back to that timeline, but it also goes back beforehand because like you're talking about Soap and McTavish or whatever it is as a recruit. So like, yeah. I think, but anyway, I think like incorporating all those characters from all 4 of those games would be a cool idea, but do it in RTS format.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine a fucking XCOM version of Call of Duty? People would fucking their minds be blown on that point.
We can call it Age of Duty.
AOD, Age of Duty.
From the creators of Call of Duty,
Jesus.
and Age of Empire comes Age of Duty.
Where's our tunnel shooters? We want those back. We don't want this crap. We don't want anything different.
Well, that's why you would make it $20. You would keep it cheap, keep it affordable, and broaden the entry point. Because the one thing you can never do, period, as a game developer, game designer, game whatever, is lie. Don't lie to the consumers. If you're going to make a new Call of Duty game that's an RTS, tell them this is going to be an RTS. We're going to make it a little bit more affordable so the entry point can be a lot bigger so you can try it. Because I'm telling you, if you like RTSs, we're going to be taking the characters that you love and we're going to be sticking them in this game. It's going to be fun. Play the Modern Warfare trilogy or quadrilogy, whatever a 4-peat is, and play it in this format, $20, one game. It'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, without question.
Right?
That's gonna be a fucking fun ass game, dude.
I should totally be the head of a game developer because like I have so many good ideas. All right, so you've replaced Bowser as the head of Nintendo, and I already got some big shoes to fill. You know how Bowser, when he made his how you doing kind of thing, he had Mario and Luigi tied up behind him because his name's Bowser. Fucking great, right? When I do it, I'm gonna have Bowser himself, the actual head of Nintendo of America, tied up behind me. Could you imagine me like in the head of Nintendo America? All right, so we got a new Mario idea. We were pitching to you. He's gonna jump on Koopas. I hold up my hand and I go, "Don't interrupt. Just wait. Mario, but in first person cross Raccoon City.
Oh God.
It's me,
Scared.
Mario. Ba-da-ba-ba. Hey, stars. I like it, the stars. Ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then Nemesis just chases you down every time you take a star. Tell me that game wouldn't break the world. Peace in the Middle East because everyone is playing Resident Evil Mario.
Because I know you would want to play it from the part of Nemesis. I know you. I know you'd want to be like, here is for all the racism you have brought to game. Go, you die.
It doesn't even need to be first person. It can be third person. Just put little Mario
Shove you back down that fucking pipe.
Just put little Mario in Resident Evil 3, the remake. And like you only ever activate the Nemesis whenever you hit a box to get a star.
Oh man!
But you have to collect the stars to win the game, just like any other Mario game.
Oh man!
So like there'll be points near the end where Mario's like shaking and trembling, and Luigi's like, "Yeah, not so hard to do, is it, Mario?"
Do you imagine like Mario, like his clothes are torn up, he's got blood coming out his face and bruises and shit.
He's twitching when he sees a box with a question mark icon. He's hoping it's a mushroom.
No, not for me.
Please don't let it be a star. Oh no.
I'm supposed to be kid friendly. What the hell is this crap?
It's the box. Oh! He grabs the star and he runs, and you just hear stars. And then Nemesis bursts through the wall with Koopa's head on his arm. Just ripped through Koopa getting to you. Oh, no, even better. So all of the Mushroom Kingdom is now in Raccoon City. It's like all the characters.
Oh my god, this is so weird.
You open up the game with Wario laughing maniacally as zombies eat him alive, while Luigi is among the zombies. Princess Daisy is the dead girl on the chief of Raccoon. What's his name? I forget his name. The chief of Raccoon PD's desk. Remember that he's trying to turn her into like a stuffed. What the fuck is that called? Where you stuff a dead animal? What's that called?
Are you thinking taxidermy?
Yes. Remember in RE2, or or the original RE2, where the chief of police was going to turn her into a taxidermy dummy, kind of thing.
I do believe so. Yeah.
Well, that's now Daisy instead of the mayor's daughter.
Oh my god.
Princess Peach is Ada Wong.
Oh man.
But the best part is Mario and Bowser kind of join sides, and here's the way I would do this. So Mario's getting chased down, and Bowser finds him, and Mario's like, "I knew this is how it was going to end. You sick bastard, getting me when I'm down." And then Bowser ends up killing all the guys chasing Mario, and he's like, because I don't think Bowser speaks English. And Mario's like, "Yes, we will work together." And then you start building up this idea that's going to be Nemesis versus Bowser in a goddamn kaiju battle where it's like fucking Godzilla, King Kong. Oh, no. There goes Raccoon City. Bowser. But Bowser ends up getting ripped in half like instantly. And then Mario's just like, "Oh, fuck me."
Well, I guess my franchise is dead. Literally.
Instead of it being Sherry Birkin, it's Toad.
Oh shit.
So Peach, Toad, and Mario get out of Raccoon City. Luigi's fucking Barry Burton. "Did you think I'd let you die alone, Mario?" I don't know why I was quoting Magneto from the X-Men, but there you have it.
Oh god, I can see Luigi trying to kill somebody with the poltergust in fucking Raccoon City now. God fucking.
So Nemesis gets the trio to the heliport. Because I know I'm combining games at this point. Fuck off. Peach gets knocked out, and Toad's like, "Rrr!" And he hides underneath his hat because he's a fucking useless tool. And then Mario's in the corner as Nemesis is striding toward him. And Mario's like, "Bring it on, you ugly motherfucker." And then Luigi's like, "Did you think I'd let you die alone, brother?" And he throws down, he drops down from the helicopter with a giant bazooka and blows him up. And he just takes off his fucking aviators, like all like slow and cool. He's got like a little toothpick in his mouth. And he, what the Polterguster, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Polterbuster, is that what it is?
it's
No,
it's the poltergust.
Poltergust. So he turns to Mario and he goes, "This is my new Poltergust. It's far more effective." And Mario's like, "Oh, thank you, brother Luigi. I'm changing my last name to Mario Luigi now." And they get back on
The
the
only thing I would
helicopter,
change there.
fly away as the
Oh
city
god.
gets nuked. They're all kind of and then all of a sudden the song from Jurassic Park plays as they're flying away. Na 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 na. And then this is the best part. When the city explodes, it just makes the coin sound.
Or what up?
No, it's got it's not the one up because they're all dead. So it would have to be like the coin sound, like the ding.
Jesus Christ.
So what would you change about my brilliant, perfect idea?
There's only one part of the moment. It's when you had Luigi, you had him jumping out the helicopter to shoot a rocket at him, right?
Yeah.
I would have, instead of a rocket, I would have a bomb come out of it.
Oh, okay. Wait. What's the giant bullet? Bullet Steve, Bullet Bob?
Bullet Bill.
I would have him shoot a giant bullet bill at him.
Got to keep it within the franchise, you know?
Right? So that's what I would do.
This game sounds epic. We need a fucking Nintendo and Capcom. Have a crossover now, please. Get this shit made.
Wait. What was the name?
Or at least somebody make a parody video, please, God.
What was the name of Mario's girlfriend in Donkey Kong? Do you remember? Penelope?
Pauline.
So you know how in the original game, if you're playing as Claire, if you do like a certain sequence of events, you can find a zombified, was it Chris, in the tunnel underneath Raccoon, right outside of like the Raccoon Police Department. I think it was Chris, or maybe it was like someone.
Was it? I think it was some like just random dude. I wasn't thinking like a main character.
No, it wasn't a random dude. It was the guy who died in 3.
Okay.
He was a member of Stars, I think. Nemesis killed him. But in if you play, I think it's as Jill, and you go through the sequence, like you can find a zombified version of him under the walkway heading towards the Raccoon PD. Instead of it being that one Stars member, it's Pauline. and it's not even like Pauline reimagined for this. It's just like the fucking 8-bit Donkey Kong Pauline. Just gray with a little blood around her mouth.
Retro mutilation. What a
fucking the sub boss for this game is a zombified Donkey Kong.
Oh my god.
Right.
What the fuck are you on?
Who would be the Wesker? There's got to be a Wesker. Who would be the Wesker? Oh, the Wesker didn't show up in
God, well, you got.
I don't know.
Well, who did you put Waluigi as? Did you put him as anybody yet?
I had Waluigi eating Wario.
Okay, well,
I know who Wesker is. I know who Wesker is.
Oh Lord, I'm not sure I want to know.
Yes, you do.
Who is it?
Diddy Kong. He stretched out, and here's the design. He's got his dumb hat on. He's got his black sunglasses, but he's still only 2.5 feet tall. But he's got a 6 foot. He's got a 6 foot long trench coat on. So as he walks in, he's doing his little monkey walk. But instead of like seeing the tail, it's just the rest of the coat dragging on the ground. And then when he takes off his cap, he has blonde spiked hair for some reason, like Wesker did.
Oh my fucking god! This is either the worst or the best game of all time. I can't decide yet.
It's both, and you know it.
Oh my god, Jesus! Oh man, I know you'll pitch this. We could pitch this to Nintendo. They'll be like, "Yeah, no."
If I could just get Bowser to be into it, like that's all I need. Like let's plant the seeds. Because what you could do, theoretically speaking, you could make a parody a Resident Evil on the Nintendo console with
Mm.
Mario and Donkey Kong characters in the same game I'm giving you, tone it down to a PG-13, PG kind of format, and basic like Luigi's Mansion. But every character some kind of like off-brand, obvious Resident Evil copycat. So in this one, Bowser
Like
would be
give.
Nemesis.
Mm.
But like instead of it like just being Bowser, it would be Bowser with like one eye, wearing the Nemesis trench coat and a giant bazooka. Donkey Kong's a fucking tyrant. All the Koopas have
I
become
guess
zombies.
I can just picture Mario and Luigi being like what, like the fuck like a fucking SWAT team or police officers.
Well, Mario would definitely be Chris Redfield, and Luigi would definitely
Mhm.
be what's his name? Help me out here. Second in the game, Leon West, Leon Kennedy.
Mhm.
And like you would have Mario dressed like Redfield from the first game with the green kind of military combat outfit, and Luigi would be in the blue police outfit, but instead of it being RCPD on his chest, it would be what is that called, the Koopa Kingdom?
Mushroom Kingdom,
Mushroom Kingdom.
MKPD.
Yes, it would be MKPD on his chest. Right?
Oh hell yeah, I am in.
All the Koopas look like no, you wouldn't even have Koopas. It would just be the Bone Koopas.
I don't want to even do the rest of my anticipated list. I just want this game to just be the anticipated game of 2020. Please get this made.
How great would that be?
This would just be fan-fucking-tastic, man.
Right?
Jesus Christ.
So what's your next anticipated game?
Let's see here. Should I do an obvious one or should I do a little more off the wall one, you think?
Pick whatever you got.
Okay, well I'm gonna go a little bit off the wall here. I'm not gonna go with modern here. Okay, you're familiar. Obviously, you're familiar with the Clerks movies, and you know the guy who played Elias in the Clerks movies, right? Trevor Furman.
Pillow Pants.
What?
Pillow Pants.
Yeah, he actually is creating a game based off of the Jay and Silent Bob series of movies.
Really?
And it's going to be a beat 'em up featuring the two characters, and it's going to be called Chronic Blunt Punch. Already sounds awesome. And I'm looking forward to that game. But what they decided to do in order to help the funding move along is they partnered with another company and got an 8-bit beat 'em up version of Jay and Silent Bob made, and they're going to release that, and that's called Mall Brawl. So I'm kind of looking forward to both of these games. I really want to try these games out, especially considering Mall Brawl is releasing on an actual NES cartridge. I think that's going to be awesome.
I've heard of Mall Brawl. I haven't really gone too much into it, but I've heard the name.
Yeah, it's still technically in development. Like I pre-ordered the NES thing, the cart, like a while ago, but it's supposedly going to come out it's supposed to be Q1 of this year. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. As far as Chronic Blunt Punch goes, I don't know, but I know the developer is looking into bringing both of them to the Switch at some point, which I'm pretty excited for. But I couldn't pass up a chance to own a game based off of Jay and Silent Bob on an actual old NES cart. Like there was no way I was gonna pass that shit up.
I might have to get this game.
Well, I am gonna get it. And I know you don't want to play with me, but it is going to release digitally too, alongside with this. This was just a promotion to kind of get the interest sparked. But I believe it's going to be on Steam, to my knowledge, and Switch. As far as other platforms, PS4, Xbox, I'm not sure yet. But for those for sure, I believe are going to get it at some point. So
that's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be rad. It's nice to see retro stuff still popping up in 2020. You know what I mean?
See,
I still love it.
That's what I'm talking about. Like If we had launched our console a year ago, we could have had Mall Brawl and Chronic Blunt Punch on our outfit. See?
I'm more intrigued. I'm more intrigued to Chronic Blunt Punch though, because Mall Brawl is just going to be a basic like beat 'em up. It does have some different elements. I've seen gameplay of it in it, but Chronic Blunt Punch is actually going to have a system mixed in with it where your insults that you give to other people are going to reward you in some way. It's going to be some kind of like system within the game, so you have to be good at insults in order to progress.
Well, I guess we just found out who the greatest player in the history of this game is going to be.
Possibly you.
There's no possibly there. It's going to be... The quote in sync, it's going to be me.
Yeah, this is one for sure that when it comes out, I want to get it, play it, and we gotta like do a review of this one because it's such a unique time or such a unique thing to release, you know, other than just like straight porting it or getting it on a physical cart like for like just the Switch or a modern console. They're going the full blown other way and just saying fuck it, here, play it on your old system if you still have them.
See, I want to do more
I'm
stories
down
like
for that.
this. Like you need to get better at finding obscure stories because this is the shit that I dig. I love the colors.
Like this kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, I love the colors. I love the look. I love the story. Now, if only Jeff Anderson's willing to do fucking Clerks 3, we can finally get this fucking three-peat going.
Jeff Anderson actually made a game too, I believe, at one point.
No shit. What's it called?
Didn't he? Randall's Monday, I think it's called.
I am looking this up as we speak.
It is on it's on the PS4, I believe. It's in the vein of those really old point and click games like the Monkey Island games, stuff like that.
Stop! I can only get so erect.
So you want me to bring up more of just this random shit, huh?
Yes. Like this is the shit that I want to get into.
It only comes up every so often, which is kind of what sucks. You know, not everybody's doing it. Only certain people are making certain games do it from time to time because it's kind of a risky thing, especially if your game is not totally well known and you're trying to make a name for yourself. Releasing on older systems might not always be the way to go.
Dude, we need to play this game. I'm not even kidding. Can we get our hands on Randall's Monday?
I believe I downloaded it at one point, so we should probably. I think if I go back in my backlog, my library of the system, we can. I can re-download that, and we could possibly maybe like stream it or something if you wanted to.
I mean, I don't know about streaming, but I definitely want to play this. But if the song isn't a cover of Manic Monday, I'm gonna be severely disappointed. Because the intro thing should be, it's just another Randall Monday, oh, you wish it was Sunday, oh, you're not even supposed to be in today, oh. I know that's a Dante joke, but still, get off my back.
I don't care, it's funny.
God,
the fact that we're getting got like two fucking Clerks related games coming out this year, or at least one for sure. The other one I'm not sure about yet.
See, I know like more of
these
these nonsensical, obscure bullshit ideas exist. We just need to find them better.
Well, this one completely like caught me off guard. Like I remember seeing like an advertisement for it on like. I go through the site Nintendo Life a lot, and for some reason they had a news article posting about this game was getting funded on Kickstarter. It's going to come to Switch. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, are you shitting me? These guys are getting a beat 'em up. There's no way this is true. And sure enough, it's fucking true. And they've gotten Kevin Smith endorsed it completely. And now it's getting funding for a newer game. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a good time.
I'm very in. I want to make that very clear. I am very in with this.
Could this possibly be your game of the year?
We'll see. We'll see. Oh, by the by, so did you notice that for the for the modern retro award or whatever it is? I specifically
Yeah.
said that it's for previous generation consoles only. So whatever the modern
Okay.
console is, it
Mm.
cannot have any potential nominees. That way it's clarified and it's matter of fact. Work for you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. No problems.
Cuckoo, Kachu. You are the walrus.
Yeah, we're reviewing both of these games, man. Seriously, we could even review Randall's Monday if you really want to.
That's the entire point of me bringing. Yes, we were reviewing Randall's. That's why I said, can we get our hands on it so we can review it?
Yeah, I have it. So all you got to do is just come over and play it.
I'm gonna say
I know spending time with me horrible.
it is. I'm gonna see how much it costs because you said it's on the PS4.
Yeah, when I got it, it was about 20 bucks. Hopefully, it's still in that range.
Well, it'd be lower now because this game came out in 2014.
Mm.
So.
Mm.
Yes.
You could only did you see anything like you look up? Were you looking at any screenshots? Anything?
Yeah, and I love the art. I've never been a big point and
Mm.
click guy, but that's because for me, those games are about story and characters.
Mm.
And the only one I ever really played was I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. But I do want to play like what was it, Fandango? Is that the one with the skeleton detective?
Grim Fandango.
Yeah, I want to play that one because like I hear that's funny as shit. Max and the bunny and the dog detectives. Toy Story.
Sam and Max.
I played one of those and I remember enjoying it to an extent. The Monkey Island stuff, I know it was made by Lucas Films or Lucas Arts, I should say, but I don't know. I don't really care. There's not a lot of monkeys in that game, so like I don't know. You almost had me with the name, but then I'm like, wait, who's this random white dude? I am monkey. I need me some chimps, yo.
So possible contender for game of the year right here, Mall Bro. Be on the lookout for this.
Oh, it's gotta be good.
Yeah, it's gotta be. I mean, I'm totally down for anything like this. They're throwing in homages to other games in it too. Like, I know as much as I hate the Battletoads segment, they're making it a shopping cart segment.
That's fantastic. It's gonna be awful.
Fucking awesome. But in all the right ways, right?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to find out. It might just be awful. It might break the game. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a bad thing. Because like if they're intentionally trying to break the game like that, like that'd be hilarious. Like we intentionally put this level in here because it's fucking stupid.
So is there any? Can you think of any other predictions off the top of your head? Like, did you still have one?
Nope.
No, pretty much done, huh?
Yup. It's been almost 2 hours.
You think I should? So you think we're about done with this then?
Well, if you have any more games that you want to mention, do it.
I mean, I can go through the rest and just make like it's just going to be a quick reference. These were just the ones I told you were just the main ones I really wanted to highlight, especially this one because I knew you in some way would definitely get a kick out of that.
Mm-hmm.
First, of course, there's not much left. I'll go through them quickly. There's obvious ones in here too, like Ghost of Tsushima. You knew I was going to talk. I am going to have that anticipated. We've been anticipating that one for a long time. It's finally going to come out in the summer. Cannot wait to play that. That's definitely near the top of my list. This is not so much obscure, but it is an indie game, and I want to support the person who's making it because I've worked with him in the past. I've done podcasts before this, and he was a part of that. He's working on a game called Refactor. It's going to be it's a platformer game with it's a Metroidvania style to it. But the environments themselves can actually rotate like Tetris pieces, which I think is cool. So and you actually play as an actual Tetris piece, and depending on what part of the game you're playing, the piece itself changes its shape. so it'll incorporate itself in gameplay in different ways. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Um, there's always there's the big ones. I mean, Bayonetta 3 is a niche for some certain crowds. It's not the biggest name out there, but I'm still looking forward to that. Doom Eternal, I want to play that one really bad. I I was really upset when it got pushed back, but I understand, especially if there's going to be a quality of that. I wanna get it on Switch because it's the 2016 one performed really well on there, and I think that the port of this one could be just as good. Um, I'm even interested in Resident Evil 3 remake myself. I mean, I still have to play through 2, but these remasters of them, these reimaginings are getting a lot of hype, a lot of praise, and I cannot wait for the next one. And the last one I'll touch on here just really quickly is Streets of Rage 4, because I'm always a fan of beat 'em ups, and I really like the art style of this game, and I hope it's good. I hope it does toss in maybe a new idea or two within it, make it a little bit more interesting, but that's definitely near the top of my list as well. Um, Other than that, the only other one I have left is the I haven't played any games on this original console. That's the TurboGrafx 16. The mini console comes out this year, and I want to see maybe if there were some of the highlights from there, that maybe there's some of these games I might actually like from that system. So can't wait for that. And other than that, that's pretty much it. That was my whole list. So went through it pretty quickly.
There you go. So I don't have anything else to talk about. Most of the YouTube stuff that's I watch is still kind of on hiatus. Like Caddy, Stop Skeletons from Fighting, I don't think put out a new video this week. So, oh, I lost Matt. Matt, you there? Matt. What the hell happened? Matt? Let's try this again. It appears Matt may have lost power. 'Cause my internet's fine. So, let me send him a text and see if we can't finish this up properly. We do have severe storms rolling, at least severe weather, wind specifically rolling through. So let me just see if he lost power. If he lost power, then we'll just wrap it up for the night. Because, like I was saying, most of the YouTube guys, I don't think they put out anything new. The only ones that are still actively posting after the new year at the moment are Inside Gaming Daily, while Cat Eckers hasn't put a new video out yet. Matt McMuscles is doing his What Happens and his deep dives on Sundays now. And Stop Skeleton from Fighting, I don't think they put out anything last week. Because a lot of people are still on break, so it's not that unexpected. He says he hasn't lost power. Oh, here we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reset the connection, like what after happened last time. I don't know, like nothing. The weirdest thing is no connection issue happened. My internet didn't go out. The power didn't go out. So I don't know what happened.
Oh well.
That was weird.
So as I was saying, there's no real YouTube-ness except for the stuff from Inside Gaming Daily, which is just news. Because a lot of guys are still on hiatus from the holidays. Matt McMuscles put out a video last week, but I forgot what it was.
StarCraft Ghost. That was what it was.
Yeah, it was whatever. It was for the GameCube. It didn't come out. in development hell. Like he's basically making the same fucking video 1,000 different times. So unless it's like a title that really catches my eye, like it's a simple explanation. Why didn't this game come out? Money reasons, development issues. What else? No, that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, almost all of my channels pretty much went on hiatus, except for one because he's trying a different way of doing his show, and that's the Boundary Break series, the one I've told you about before.
Mm-hmm.
He's starting to get funding now through Patreon, trying to hire on a crew to make the episodes like, more rapid fire, maybe at least once a week. And he put out ones on Rocket League and Jedi Fallen Order, and the most interesting one was PT. That's worth a watch. I always like his content. She's just it's hard to say his name. But he makes great content. He's one of the most unique guys that I watch on YouTube because it's just something different. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that his is not just whatever the controversial topic is. It's like, no, man, let's fuck around in this game and see what we can find. And there's just some weird fucking shit you can find in PT. The only thing I'll say is that the whole game itself is just a consistent loop, and he found like certain assets and stuff like that still being left in if you move the camera a certain way, certain animations not being there and stuff. So it's definitely worth checking out if you're interested in how that demo played out. So I would say watch the PT one for sure.
All right. Anything else?
I watched a lot of DC animation this week, if that interests you any.
Like the Harley Quinn stuff?
I watched I dived into a few of the animated movies.
Okay.
I checked out Wonder Woman Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
The Rosario Dawson is Wonder Woman, and I was kind of surprised by this. Jeffrey Donovan was Stephen Trevor. I thought that was cool.
Oh.
Definitely, yeah. I definitely like that. It's weird to hear him in animation because I've never heard it before. I never heard him do this before. I'm sure he might have, but this is the first time I'm hearing of it. So that was a cool one. I also watched Justice League Gods and Monsters. That one kind of confused me a little bit. I got to be honest. I'm thinking is just an alternate timeline they're doing for it or something?
Yeah, it's an alternate
Because
universe.
okay, because I'm like Batman's really is real bad. Superman is from Zod. What the hell is going on? But it was still a good watch. And Michael C. Hall is Batman. I like it. I like the idea. I think it's a nice play on that. That's cool. The one I still have yet to watch, and that's I got all these from the family video that's by me. Um, yeah, I know rental stores are still alive. The last one I have to watch is Green Lantern First Flight. That's the last one I have.
That's a good one. I've seen that one. That one's old. That came out like 09, 08.
Yeah, I was just looking in the DC and like the animated stuff they had, and there wasn't much Marvel side of things, and everything DC was either like a Batman, Justice League, and this was the only one that was kind of away from it a little bit, you
Mm-hmm.
know, other than Wonder Woman. So I'm like, yeah, I'll give that one a shot. So yeah, I'll have to watch that. But other than that, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much been my week. So
Not bad. All right. Well, that'll wrap us up for the show. We're back next week. No idea what we're gonna do yet. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. You can find us at the website realnerdcorp.com, realnerdcorp.com. We're on Podbean at realnerdcorp.podbean.com if you want to download any of our past podcasts. We're also on Twitter at NERDCORP. We're on Twitter at NerdCorp, NERDCORP. We're on Instagram at realnerdcorp, youtube.com/WrestlingUnderground, twitch.tv/Comic and GameCorp, twitch.tv/WrestlingUnderground. Actually, I think the YouTube is youtube.com/The Wrestling Underground. Just go to the website. I'll have to update the links, but yeah, I'll get to that probably tonight. Matt, what are your personals?
you can find me on Twitter at mnerdcorp, same handle on Twitch.
You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter. That's one Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, ChadNerdCorp, as well as on Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. So yeah, if you want to like download any of our past podcasts, do so by going to Podbean at realnerdcorp.podbean.com or by downloading the Podbean app to your mobile device and downloading us on there. We're also on iTunes at Nerdcorp, NERDCORP. So yeah, that's all I got for this.
All right. I guess it's my turn to just basically say thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you next week for whatever our next game is.